But be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. That's the way you think. Your mind got to be renewed, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High. What is that? Romans 7 and 12. What's good? We know the Most High is good. Romans 7 and 12. Wherefore the law, it's the law of the Most High, is holy, and the commandment holy and just and good. So you're not going to escape not keeping the Most High's commandments, his laws. So I go back to Romans 12 and 2. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, the way you think. So when they say born again, become a new creature, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, the way you think, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High. See, a lot of people, they don't realize the Most High called you. He called you. And you turn your nose up at the Most High and gave him the finger, gave him the middle finger, because you ain't even dealing with him no more. And some in it don't realize they're not dealing with him because they're not really doing what they should be doing to bring forth the perfect will of the Most High. As he laboring to make you perfect, and you just like say it don't even matter. Then you wonder why all these things be happening to you, because things don't work right, because you done left him alone. You on your own. You got to seek the world for the things that the Most High could have blessed you with. Galatians 5:21. Galatians 5:21. You know, that's why I say it's a revolving door. How many people have I seen just come in and go? Woo, just. Galatians 5:21. Envyings, murderers. Let's look at verse 19. Galatians 5:19. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these. These are works of the flesh. You carnal-minded people. This is what they're going to deal with. Adultery, fornication. You got spiritual fornication where people go away from the Most High, believe it in the Most High. Start dealing with idolatry. Uncleanness, they unclean. That's why the Most High said the dog, when you leave him, the dog that went back to his vomit, and the pig wallowed in the mud. You be funky like a dang old nasty pig. Uncleanness, lasciviousness, doing all kind of inordinate sex acts, idolatry, witchcraft, going into witchcraft. Got something to talk about that too. Hatred, hated on people. You the one got the problem, but you hating on people. Variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murderers, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not, I repeat, shall not inherit the kingdom of the Most High. But you're going to be cast into the lake of fire, point blank. That's what's waiting for you. But the fruit of the Spirit is love. And we know love, h.o.i said in St. John 14:15, if you love me, keep my commandments. 1 John 5:3 says, for this is the love of the Most High, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. You're supposed to be sad to do what's right. You're supposed to be happy to do what's right, knowing that you please in the Most High. You're doing his will. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy. People don't have no joy because they got all these hang-ups within themselves. Why they can't love nobody? Because they don't love themselves. They don't have joy. The joy of a Mashiach Yahushai. The peace of a Mashiach Yahushai that the world can't give you. Long suffering. Suffering long. Gentleness, that's meekness. goodness, faith, believing in the Most High, meekness, humility, temperance. Against such there is no law. Because you're doing what's right. The first one it said was love, and that's the keeping of the Most High's commandments and laws. And they that are Mashiachim, which we all should be, but that's not taught, because if you Mashiachim, then you can't belong to no man on this earth. Unless you look at them as Mashiach, the anointed, the Messiah. Let's see if they're going to bring forth the judgment. They coming to represent Revelations 19:11 when he come back to judge and make war. They going to do that? I don't think so. That's why he said, many going to come in my name and say, I am Mashiach, and shall deceive many. Some of you out there have been deceived. You don't even realize it. And they that are Mashiachim have crucified the flesh with their affections and lusts. So you got to crucify this flesh. It's a battle between the flesh and the spirit. Look at verse 17. For the flesh lusts against the spirit. This is verse 17. And the spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary the one to the other. So most will say, okay, you let the flesh, your lust and all the things that's we just read, that are the works of the flesh, overpower the spirit. But you got to let the spirit overpower the flesh. You want to make it to the kingdom? He said, hey, for the flesh lusts against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would. You letting your flesh or your lust overpower the spirit, and you're going to pay a price of being thrown in a lake of fire, where the worms never die and the fires never quench. Verse 25. If we live in the spirit, let us also walk in the spirit. That means you got to think about the spirit rather than the flesh. You see things and you relate it to the Bible, the spirit of the Most High. If you live in the spirit, let us also walk in the spirit. So as you walking around, you got to walk in the spirit. See things, oh, that goes with this scripture. That's what the Most High said going to happen. It's happening. You see the prophecies happening. You see things that has already happened. Nothing new under the sun. Repeating itself. You see what the Most High says is going to happen is happening. That's how you walk in the spirit. Practicing his laws, statutes, commandments every day. Having faith in the Most High every day. Believing in him. Let us not be desirous of vainglory. He said don't be desirous of vainglory. I mean, what kind of glory you going to get being in hell? People want to find some vainglory, worthless glory in captivity. Come on. That's why you look at h.o.i, Philippians 2 and verse 7. Verse 5 tells us, let this mind be in you, which was also in Mashiach Yahushua. So you know, it's not just my opinion. Just the mind that was in the Mashiach Yahushua. Who being in the form of the Most High, thought it not robbery to be equal with the Most High, meaning announcing himself as the Son of the Most High. That's all that means. But made himself of no reputation. So he wasn't seeking no vainglory. He came on the earth in the flesh. He said, made himself of no reputation, and took upon him the form of a servant, and was made in the likeness of men. And being found in fashion as a man, he humbled himself. He humbled himself. So you think you ain't got to humble yourself? And you're supposed to represent a Mashiach? He humbled himself and became obedient unto death, even the death of the cross. So this is what we got to look at, and not allow ourselves to be affected with this world and the way the world is, so you can be prideful and die with it, they'll accept anyone. The devil will take anybody. He the only one. Come as you are. The Most High ain't saying that. We just went through the flesh and the spirit. It's contrary to each other. If you roll in the flesh, you gonna come to the Most High? I don't think so. You'll be thrown in the lake of fire. There's a judgment. Matter of fact, speaking of that, get Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. It's the conclusion of everything. Fear the Most High. Be afraid and be scared of the Most High. So you respect him. Do what he say do. And keep his commandments. But this is the whole duty of man, to fear the Most High and keep his commandments, follow his rules and regulations. For the Most High shall bring every work into judgment. He'll bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. So we're going to meet the judgment seat of Mashiach Yahushua, because the Most High has given him all power to make a judgment on his behalf. But are you going to be ready? Deuteronomy 10. Let's go to the law. Deuteronomy 10 and 12. Deuteronomy 10 and 12. Because it's going down, Israel. You got to be ready. For real. Deuteronomy 10 and 12. And now, Israel, what does the Most High, thy power, your power, require of thee? What does the Most High require of you? But to fear the Most High, thy power, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve the Most High, thy power, with all thy heart and with all thy soul. To keep the commandments of the Most High, and his statutes, which I command thee this day for thy good. So if you don't, and you follow the ways of this world, let's say you're not under the law, you're under mercy and grace and so forth, you're a Gentile being grafted in, you got to speak in tongues and be filled with the Holy Ghost without understanding any of that, because the mercy and grace is only to the Israelites. It wasn't afforded to the Gentiles. And he's telling you here, you keep the commandments for your good. Verse 14, behold, the heaven and the heaven of heavens is the Most High's thy power. Everything belongs to the Most High. The earth also with all that therein is the Most High's. Only the Most High had a delight in thy fathers to love them. He loved our forefathers. And he chose their seed after them. Their lineage, the children that they had after them. Even you, Yasharallah, Israel, above all people, as it is this day. Can't get no clearer than that. He said he chose us. He loved Jacob. He loved the Israelites. Even you above all people, as it is this day. He said, circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart. He said, circumcise your mind the way you think. That's why you got to change. And be no more stiff-necked. Don't be stiff-necked. For the Most High, your power is the power of powers and Lord of lords, a great power, a mighty and a terrible, which regardeth not persons. He have no respect of persons, nor taketh reward. Ain't nothing you can reward him with. But he told us in Exodus 2:25, so I don't have no respect of persons. I mean, we as individuals, the Most High have no respect as we as individuals, but he say he do have respect in this matter. Exodus 2:25, and the Most High looked upon the children of Israel, and the Most High had respect unto them. He had respect unto us as a nation, not as individuals, but as a nation. Hallelujah for that. Look at Micah 6:8. Book of Micah 6:8. Micah the 6th chapter, the 8th verse. He hath shown thee, O man, what is good. The law is good. His commandments is good. And what does the Most High require of thee? You just heard it. But to do justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with thy power. To walk humbly with the Most High. This is what he requires of us. Romans 7:12. Romans the 7th chapter, the 12th verse. What's good? Let's find out. Romans 7:12. Wherefore the law of the Most High is good. But it said the law is holy, pure and righteous. And the commandment holy and just and good. Right? So the commandment is holy. The law is holy and good. Now let's go to Matthew 19:16. What else is good? Matthew 19:16. Because, you know, it's amazing how, this is something new. But how we ask, how you doing? Everybody say, I'm good. But let's find out who's good. Since you're Mashiachim, you should be flowing like he flows, how he would do things he's telling you. Matthew 16:19. Let's see if you following his example. And behold, one came and said unto him, Good master. They said, hey, they calling him good. Master, what good thing shall I do that I may have eternal life? That's what it's all about. Your name's been written in the book of life so you can have eternal life. And he said unto him, Why callest thou me good? He said, why are you calling me good? There is none good but one. That is the Most High. So ain't nobody good but the Most High. Get this straight. So when you say you good, you represent the Most High. He said, you the Most High. He said, ain't nobody good but the Most High. No, he said, why callest thou me good? There is none good but one. That is the Most High. But if thou wilt enter into life, you want everlasting life. All you that go to church, all you that hear my voice, and going to hear what h.o.i is saying, keep the commandments. I'm telling you, keep the laws of the Most High. Keep the commandments. You want everlasting life, so the world is set up to send you straight to hell. That hell fire. But he said, you want life, you want to live forever, keep the commandments. He said unto him, which? So what commandments do I supposed to keep? He asked him that. The h.o.i said, thou shalt do no murder. All these commandments that you're going to give them are the commandments of love thy neighbor as thyself. Thou shalt do no murder. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness. Honor thy father and thy mother. And thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. All that he just gave him was how we love our neighbor as ourselves. Because you're not going to commit adultery. You're not going to go and sleep with another man's woman. You're not going to murder your brother. Or you're not going to hate your brother. You hate your brother, you're just like a murderer too. You're not going to steal from your brother. You're not going to lie on your brother. You're going to honor your father and your mother. And you're going to love your neighbor of Israel as yourself. That's going right back to the law. In Leviticus, the 19th chapter. He's quoting that. Leviticus 19, 17, and 18. That's what he's quoting from. Look at 1 Samuel's. 1 Samuel 15. So you see, the Most High is good. So you got to stop saying I'm good. So I'm all right. Because you're just all right. You ain't all that good. Not in captivity, slavery, and bondage. No, you're not. 1 Samuel 15. But we're going to be good. If the Most High allow us to be. He said we're going to be like him. 1 Samuel 15 and 22. And Samuel said, "Hath the Most High as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Most High?" See, when we had to sacrifice animals and so forth, Most High had no delight in that. He wanted to be obedient. If you're obedient, then you don't have to do no sacrificing. You don't have to keep going to the Most High and asking for forgiveness for being wicked, doing the wrong things. Why it says, and Samuel said, "Have the Most High as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Most High? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice." To obey, and you don't have to sacrifice animals. You don't have to keep going to a h.o.d.c asking for forgiveness. Go to the Most High and ask him to forgive me. h.o.d.c. You don't have to keep doing that. To obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. Hear that? Rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Wow. To be stubborn, just real stiff-necked, you just read about it, and rebellious. Very much so. And that's as the sin of witchcraft, to be like that. And stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry, because thou hast rejected the word of the Most High. He hath also rejected thee from being king. That's what he told Saul. And any of us, you reject the word of the Most High, he's going to reject you. Simple as that. Don't take a rocket science to figure that out, do it. Go to Isaiah, the 1st chapter. You say, you do what I say, I'm going to love you. Be there for you. You don't? I'm going to send Satan on you. Because you're not doing righteousness, then you're going to draw Satan, you're going to draw the negative to you. Most High is not evil. But he said, don't eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. So you want to draw that evil to you? Then do what's contrary to the Most High. Isaiah 1 and 20. But if you refuse and rebel, ye shall be devoured with the sword. If you refuse and rebel, what you hearing from the word of the Most High, ye shall be devoured with the sword. For the mouth of the Most High has spoken it. He said you're going to be devoured with the sword. Jump up to verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner. A dumb ox knoweth his owner. And the ass his master's crib. The ass knows his master's crib, where his master live at. But Israel does not know. Hear that? He's saying we as a people don't know. And my people, who are the 12 tribes of Israel, does not consider. They don't even consider. Ah, sinful nation. A people laden with iniquity. He's talking about us. A seed of evildoers. Children that are corrupters. They have forsaken the Most High. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. We provoke the Most High under anger, for him to get angry with us. They are gone our way backwards, went backwards, instead of going forward with him. Why he did what he said? He said he's going to do it. We knew. 1 John 3 and 10. 1 John 3 and 10. In this the children of the Most High are manifest, and the children of the devil. Whosoever does not do righteousness, is not of the Most High. So if you ain't following the laws, statutes, commandments of the Most High, you're not of the Most High. Neither he that loveth not his brother. Well, we got to care about each other. Not just because you're in my camp or I'm not in your camp or your church or congregation, whatever you call it. You got to love your brother, or you'll be thrown in the lake of fire. The judgment seat going to come, and the Most High know your thoughts. You know that you don't really care to hear that. But it's real, people. 1 John, the 3rd chapter, and verse 28. 1 John 3 and 28. Because it's going down. That's why I say we look at the things that's going down, but we better be ready. We got to be ready in doing what's right according to thus say the Most High. That we can make it. Otherwise, other than that, we're gonna be stuck with trying to find a way out of the wrath that's coming. And he already given us explanations. We just gotta do what's right. That's all. Just do what's right. And that's what's right, is keeping the laws of the Most High. Having faith in the h.o.i, going to the Most High on our behalf. Keeping his laws, his rules and regulations. Simple as that. It's not hard, it's just a matter of how much you care about your fleshly body. First John 3 and 28. 1 John 3, 28. No, 1 John 3 and 1 John 3 and verse 22, Salakia. And whatsoever we ask, we receive of him, because we keep his commandments. See that? Whatever we ask, we receive of him, because we keep his commandments. And do those things that are pleasing in his sight. We do the things that are pleasing in the sight of the Most High. And this is his commandment, that we should believe on the name of his Son, Mashiach Yahweh, which is in the name of the anointed Savior, and love one another, as he gave us commandment, as he said, love thy neighbor as thyself. And he that keepeth his commandments dwelleth in him, and he in him. And hereby we know that he abideth in us by the Spirit which he hath given us. He gave us of his Spirit. He said, we will make our abode in you. He said, Mashiach said, I will not leave you comfortless. I will come to you. Just like he had what was in the spirit of the prophets, the spirit of a Mashiach Yahushua, we can have the same spirit if we do what's according to what's written, as it is written. You want to be righteous? Get Deuteronomy 6:25. You got to go back to the law to find out. Deuteronomy 6:25. Because it's going to be on. And want to make sure that we're living, that we're part of seeing it with our eyes, but not being involved with it. Unless you just have something that you want to do contrary to what the Most High said his elect going to do. Deuteronomy 6:25. This is right, being righteous. And it shall be our righteousness if, which is a condition, we observe to do all these commandments before the Most High, our power, whose eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men and all the secret things, as he has commanded us. Got to keep his commandments. That's being righteous, to keep his commandments. But how you going to keep his commandments if you don't know his commandments? You got to study his commandments and find out what's right and what's wrong, or ask questions about them. This is not going to be an excuse, because you're going to meet the judgment seat of Mashiach Yahushua. He said, hey, you're going to be judged by what you've done in these mortal bodies, whether it was good or bad. Acts 22:14. Acts 22:14. Acts 22:14. And he said, the power of our fathers have chosen thee, that thou shouldst know his will, and see that just one who is a Mashiach Yahushua, who's coming back to judge and make war, set righteousness on this earth, and should have heard the voice of his mouth. And he said, the power of our fathers, who was who? Who's the power of our fathers? Acts 3:13. Lets us know who the power of our fathers are. Who are they? Acts 3:13. This is how you know when it says the power of our fathers. This is what it's talking about. Acts 3:13. The power of Abraham and of Isaac and of Jacob. And Jacob being the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel. The power of our fathers. That's who the power of our fathers is. The power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The Most High told us in Exodus 3:15 and 16. He said the power of Abraham, the power of Isaac, the power of our fathers. He said this, the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This is my name forever and a memorial to all generations. So we looking at this, it says in Acts 22:14. And he said, the power of our fathers, the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, have chosen thee, have chosen us, that thou shouldst know his will, and see that just one, Mashiach Yahushua, and should have heard the voice of his mouth. But you got to be able to know the word to hear the voice of his mouth. For whatever subject matter. St. John 15 and 16. So he chose thee. Who is that chosen that is speaking of? St. John 15 and 16. St. John 15 and 16. Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you, and ordained you, that you should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father, by Hashem Mashiach Yahushua, in the name of the Lord and Savior, he may give it you. So he said, We didn't choose him, he chose us. He chose us. These things I command you that you love one another. If the world hates you, you know that it hated me before it hated you. They put him to death, hung him on a tree. If you are the world would love his own. So you are the world gonna love his own. How many people have been in the truth and went back to the world, somebody in the world love his own? Like a dog going back to his vomit and a pig wallowing in the mud, big funky pig smelling sucker. Pig eating out of the slop. That's what he look at you as. That's what you have turned to. He said if you were of the world would love his own. The world will love you. But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. The world hates you because he chose you out of the world. And here you are looking at trying to make it to the kingdom. If you truly about it, or you're on your own. The Most High ain't dealing with you. Because you done brought him to an open shame. Salakia, just a moment.
Starting screensaver.
You will now enter the conference. Only organizers can be heard.
So St. John 6, 15 and 19 says, if you are the world would love his own. See, the world love his own. I mean, the world set up a thing straight to hell, knowing that, hey, you're going to hell with them. So live it up. Because that fire is going to burn forever and ever and ever. The worms never die. Going to be eating you up forever and ever and ever. What you going to do when he come for you? Because everybody going to meet the judgment seat. It's getting closer and closer and closer to these last days that you're going to hear about. If you're of the world would love his own. But because you are not of the world, those that are became a new creature, born again, changed to the righteousness and keeping the laws of the Most High, commandments of the Most High, you're not of the world. But I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. That's why the world hates you. But it shouldn't matter about how the world feels about you. Because you ain't trying to go to hell with it. Then who cares? You got to care about how the Most High look at you. How Mashiach h.o.i going to look at you when he come and judge and say, either going to say, I know you or I don't know you. That's why it's always said, choose life or death. That's it. Life is everlasting life. Death is being thrown in the lake of fire where the worms never die and the fires never quench. Deuteronomy 7 and 1. Well, Deuteronomy 1 and 1. So you know who the book of Deuteronomy is talking to. And generally, if you go to the beginning of these books, you can see who it's talking to within the books. Generally, the beginning of the books tell you who it's talking to. Deuteronomy 1 and 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel on this side of Jordan, in the wilderness. So it's, the book of Deuteronomy is talking to all Israel. Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Who are the chosen? Let's find out. Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Remember, and this is very important because a lot of people go to church and you look at the New Testament, but Mashiach h.o.i didn't have a New Testament to go by when he came on the earth. He only had the law and the prophets. When he went into the temple, he opened up the books to read anything. It was from the Old Testament. So now we know the book of Deuteronomy is talking to the children of Israel. What does it say in Deuteronomy 7 and 6? For thou art an holy people unto the Most High thy power. That's your power, showing possessive pronoun, showing ownership. The Most High thy power, your power, have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself. How special? Above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Because understand this, Most High said, Most High don't consider everybody a people. That's why I go to Deuteronomy 32 and 21 right quick. To just show you, everybody on this earth not a people in the eyes of the Most High. Deuteronomy 32:21. They have moved me to jealousy. This is us. We the Israelites moved the Most High to jealousy with that which is not the Most High. A lot of you still believe, as Israelites, that the so-called white man is the Most High. So-called white man is h.o.i and everybody in the Bible. The Jewish people are the chosen people of the Most High, when that's a lie. They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not the Most High. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities. That many things that has no merit, no value, worthless. And I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. I wonder what they are. They're not a people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. So the Most High don't consider everybody that's on this earth. You run around here thinking that they're people. He say they are no people. You just heard it. Deuteronomy 7 and 6. For thou art an holy people, children of Israel. The 12 tribes of Israel, that identifies us contrary to anyone else. Because nobody else is talking about the 12 tribes of Israel. But we, the 12 tribes of Israel. See? Say, for thou art an holy people unto the Most High thy power, your power. The Most High thy power have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself. How special? Above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Hear that? He said the Most High did not set his love upon you, nor choose you because ye were more in number. We outnumbered everyone than any people. But ye were the fewest of all people. We had the fewest in our nation. But because the Most High loved you, you won't find where the Most High say he loved no one else. Show me. Where the Most High say he loved Esau, Edomites, Ammonites, Moabites, Elamites, Hamites. Where is it at? He said, but because the Most High loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he has sworn unto your fathers. We already know that's Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Have the Most High brought you out with a mighty hand and redeemed you out of the house of bondage from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. That was the 12 tribes of Israel. Look at Deuteronomy 14 and 2. Deuteronomy 14 and 2. For thou art an holy people unto the Most High thy power. That's your power. And the Most High have chosen thee to be a peculiar people. And nobody's like us. We're very peculiar. Unto himself. How peculiar? Above all the nations that are upon the earth. Now he chose us to be above all the nations that are upon the face of the earth. Deuteronomy 32 and 8. When the Most High divided to the nation,